One of the biggest issues with that Forbes 30 under 30 shit, other than the fact that it's just like Nepo kids with inheritance money, or it's like just VCs throwing up their potential $1 billion startups. And if I'm being honest, I don't even know when this started, and I have no energy to do research on it, so I apologize. There's been this shift of focus from not how much money your business can produce, but how much you can raise. Like, let me explain this better. It's not, hey, I need investment money so I can run my business efficiently. And then through the efficiency of this business, I'll continue to either get more investment from you or I'll just make more revenue. We moved from that into who can raise the most amount of money with the least developed product. Like the absolute least developed product. And if you don't think that's going to set you up to fall into investing into a bunch of scams and toting up really not even CEOs, but marketing majors as these leaders of innovation and pioneers of industry, you're, for lack of better terms, you're fucking the whole game up for everybody. And it's sad to see that because it's so much money being thrown around just everywhere, especially with like the AI revolution and everyone just wanting to make sure that they invest in the next AI big company or whatnot. But it's sad seeing how much money is just being thrown around, especially that Silicon Valley area, to just bust companies or hype companies that have yet to bust. And one of the reasons as to why I think that's such a big issue, at least an extension issue, is most of these Silicon Valley kids and these, like, whether it's Nepo kids or like the legacy students or the interconnected children of this startup world, they live in an incubator of other wealthy kids, other extremely educated and successful people. So they never really have to address any problems on an existential scale other than needing to like pay taxes or losing their job because they got caught saying some racist shit. So more times than not, the only issues that they're solving at mass are how to get other rich people to, or pseudo rich people, to maintain their wealth, and then other rich people to continue to find ways to justify exploiting, or just to do anyway, exploiting poor people to make themselves richer. Because that completely unregulated doesn't lead to the self-destruction of a society. But the point I'm trying to get to is, think about a kid who is born in the suburbs, like private school kid born in the suburbs, has servants in the house. Imagine how much more difficult it is for that person to think about an issue that needs to be solved that could actually positively benefit the lives of everybody that are impacted, rather than just increasing the size of the entrepreneur's pockets, versus somebody who's lived through a foster care system, somebody who's lived through living on welfare, somebody who's lived through being homeless and evicted, and who's actually been a victim of these oppressive systems and circumstances, and has been forced to create some kind of vision or idea or infrastructure as to how to address these problems. And now all they need is opportunity and money. They don't need to be threatened that like they won't get written in a will if they don't behave a cookie cutter way or something. Now, the reason why I think you have to perpetuate this old boys club of investment and like venture capital in the entrepreneurial space, it's not only that you want to own the most successful or like unicorn businesses at the earliest stage, so like you have the most leverage with what happens to them after they're successful, but you also want to make sure that your money is going into the pockets of somebody who's not going to put that money directly into the communities that you're destroying to build future wealth or to have built the empire that you're standing on right now. So it of course, like just surface level, it's, oh, black people aren't getting money, or like for a specific circumstance, the Fearless Fund VC firm for black women and really minority women was taken down by this just like a racist conservative group that says that their clients were being discriminated against because they weren't black women. So the whole fund should get shut down. But 99% of the whatever $100 billion in the VC space, 99% go to white people. More specifically, or at least a majority of which being white men. So imagine how purely predatory it is to say that 1% right there, that point of 1%, mind you, they're discriminating against us because of all the other opportunities I have that I'm free of obligation or free of obstacle from and free of prohibition from. I've decided to try to apply for that role. Side note, maybe unrelated, that reminds me of those dudes that tried to apply for a position at Hooters, knowing that like the whole selling point of Hooters is like hot girls in like those outfits. It's like, you know, you're not doing this to fight for human rights. You're not doing this for any kind of progress. You're just doing this to be an absolute fucking shithead, bro. And to sabotage something that makes you unhappy at the end of the day. Because it's hurting your feelings so bad that you have to just destroy its existence. Now, back to the point that I'm speaking on. Do you think you can have, especially in a world where you want black people and marginalized people to look up to people like Diddy and Jay-Z, do you really think that you can have them, us, operating $100 million, billion-dollar companies and doing it not just to like go on extra vacations and to fill our own pockets, but to actually reinvest in our community, to actually raise the consciousness and to uphold a standard of our culture, to actually free ourselves from the chains and the slavery that we are constantly thrown in for the sake of this divine judgment that constantly has us looking like slaves and animals and meat sacks of fuck, instead of the divine gods that we are, outside of the perspective of blonde Jesus who hates everybody except that Aryan race of... Okay, back. We got to keep running this back to the point because I know I can get on a couple of tangents here. So I guess a little bit of what I'm trying to say with this video, if you're still here watching this, is ownership. Again, I want to say black, but apparently it's racist if you care about black people independent of needing to sell the soul of black people to everybody else to fight for their issues before our own. So hopefully it doesn't come off that way, because it isn't. I'm just saying black people, what's happening over the next 5 to 25 years is going to be stripping us of ownership and of authority. That's the whole point, to basically like chisel us down directly into remembering our roots, that is slavery. But it's funny because that's not even our roots. It's not even near the root of our actual global history as black people on this planet. But we're so fried in the brains, and we're so beat down by our suffering and trauma, and we're so individualized and cut off from our culture and anything that means something to us, for the sake of clinging on to the lies that the colonizer tells us about ourselves and about each other, bro. For the hope that we don't look at each other and realize, holy shit, we're wearing all this clown makeup and all these clown outfits for the sake of being validated or accepted by the devil at this point. Because I'm sorry, this person has us worshiping their God that allowed them to take us from our land, to destroy our culture, destroy our people, corrupt everything about us, bro. Lie to us about ourselves, bro. One of the worst fucking human rights fucking violations you could ever do in the universe, bro. Lie to a people, especially a divine group of people, about themselves and about their history for the sake that they never find that truth out. Because you know if they find that truth out, then they don't fucking need you anymore. And you know you need them more than they need you. And the second black people stop involving yourself in American politics and start figuring out who the fuck you are, if you're free or not, and how to own some shit. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't own anything, especially in this land that we're walking to, if you don't own some kind of appreciating asset, even if that thing is yourself, you will be owned. And you will be at the mercy of appreciating the assets of whoever owns you, at the mercy of your well-being and probably your life if you start speaking out against that shit.